Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another plot review video. I think this is my 10th one now. And today we're at I can't say the guy's name. I'll spell it instead. Toreole. Something like that, Toreole, I don't know. That's his plot. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. And it's a great little western sort of canyon plot, and you know, I was just flying around and saw this, was like, ooh, this is really nice. It's got some really great things in it that I want to talk about, and some things that need improving as well. So here we are. The first thing, and something I always say, is that you really need an entrance to the plot, something that just like really helps get you started. There isn't really one in particular on this plot, so I've sort of had to find my own. That's like the first negative. The second thing is this stained clay and these cliffs. If you actually were to do a mesa biome, you could get all the different coloured stained clays, and light grey stained clay, I think it's light grey or dark grey stained clay anyway, is like a darker version of this texture, so that would be really great to add in there. And the dark stone as well is another great one to add in, just to add a little bit more detail. I'm not too sure if I like the white stained clay. You've got these vines around. I don't know, I mean, it adds a bit of colour to the cliffs, but I'm not really sure if they work there or not. These cactuses, or cacti, they're really nice, and I like this little idea of having the flower on top, because, you know, they actually do have flowers and stuff. But then, especially here, you've got 1, 2 and 3. This car would not really be able to pass through here without getting snagged on one of these cactuses, so maybe get rid of one of them. Especially these two, since, you know, they're sort of in a row. Not a big fan of that. You know, maybe even putting this one block this way would make that look better. And this texture, really like this. What is this? That's a dead bush in desert biome. Didn't know that. And that's just like a smaller little cacti. So I might use that because I have been thinking about doing a Western Indian American desert plot myself. We have the texture for the wheels now, so I'd have used that instead of these for the trapdoors. I like this little car. It's really small, it's really simple and basic, and does exactly what it needs to do. It, you know, it doesn't matter what's in here really. It's all covered up nicely. So yeah, I really like that as well. A lot of these carts sometimes are oversized, so you can get lots of detail inside. This one, there is no inside, and it's great. And I think that's about it for down here. The only other thing I was going to mention is the sand in an ocean biome has a slightly different texture. If I try claying one of the plots around here, in fact, I'll just do auto, and then, so this is just so that I can show you guys. So you have this sand, and then we have this sand in an ocean biome. See how it just, or river and an ocean biome, and you can see it's just slightly different, and it just adds a bit more of a variation in texture to sort of the sand block. So, you know, this sort of texture I think would look good under the cliffs, where it's a little bit darker maybe, or maybe where the cart had been dragging along, you know, maybe the sand was a bit darker there or something because it was a bit dirtier. I don't know, but you know, there's sort of ideas that you can use for the different variations of sand. Just do P dispose, so I don't have that plot anymore, and then we'll go back to this plot. So see, even the RM just dumps you straight in the middle here. Okay, so that's about it for, you know, this canyon. It's really small, really simple, not really much you can say about it, but the detail with all these dead bushes, the tall grass, and this biome specific one, it's just great. I love it. And you got this dead tree up here, also adds to the atmosphere. So just before we do go to the top of the canyon, this Oh, we can see he's been experimenting with red sand. That's good to see. Cover this up, even if it's simply by dragging this like that. It makes the plot look like it's complete, whereas when it's like that, as it is now, it looks incomplete to me, because I can see all this dead space. I've spoke about it before in Vicente Grati. I think it was his plot review. I spoke about it. So you've got that, and now we'll go to the top. We'll start on this side. This is the side with the dead tree, and I'm deliberately trying to hide over there because I really want to talk about that a lot because I like that over there. We've got, again, just nice terrain, dead bushes. We've got some of the canyon cliffs poking up a little bit more. Again, we've got these cactus things. It's just really, really nice. Another thing that you could have done here, and again, down in the canyon it could have worked as well, is the Enviro slab, which is 126 no it's not, 43 or 44:2. Okay, so it's 44. 44:2 is sort of the environmental slab, and it gives you sand half slabs in a desert biome, or it can give you, you know, I think it was that block. Was it that block? Yeah, it was. You know, it can give you dirt slabs, it can give you gravel slabs, and all that sort of stuff. And we have this little telephone pole, so that suggests that beyond the borders of this plot there is, you know, sort of a society beginning to grow. There's a town nearby, and it's a really simple idea, and it uses the string well, and I just really like this. It works really well. So now we'll go on to the other side, and on this side we have the little Indian camp going on. Again, we've got all the nice same details as before. We've got the rocks coming up a little bit higher. We've got this, which I'm not a big fan of. I've already said I don't like this clay mixed into the cliff, but you know, the fact that it actually protrudes into the sand, I'm not a big fan of that. But again, all this nice design. Now this teepee, it's quite nice. It's very mixed up as well. It's not really uniform. You could use trapdoors, levers, to help sort of pin it down. You know, like that. It makes it look like it's sort of pinned to the ground. I like that you've got the buttons around. That's a good little thing. And you can also use some fences around, like sort of like this. You know, just makes it look like it's being held up a little bit more, being supported. And the colours, I don't know. I think I'd have gone for a light grey instead of brown, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me being stereotypical. Inside here, this is far too thick for, you know, the inside. I would have done the whole cobblestone wall down here, and the interior, to be honest, isn't that great. I mean, you've got this rug, maybe that would be good for sleeping. I don't think you'd have beds in here somehow, and I would have got rid of the sand, because if this teepee is sort of around the plot, it would be flat in here. It wouldn't be on this little sand hill. So I would have, like, you know, knocked those blocks out. I get that this window here is because you didn't have enough space on the plot to actually finish it off. And the dead bush, I don't get why there's a dead bush in here. I wouldn't have that in the. They would have, you know, plucked all the weeds out and stuff. And maybe put a bit of soil, dirt in here. You know, maybe they've wore away all the sand or something. Or I'm not really sure if dirt would work, but you know, just another different material just to make it more of a change. And then we'll go further on the back, and we have this, which took me a while to work out what it was at first. I was like, what the hell is this? But I think I've seen stuff like this before in, like, you know, the American films set in the Wild West. It's like a sort of shrine god thing. Looks really nice. I don't know what they're called or anything, but you know, it's a nice simple design. And then we've got this. I know it's meant to be an animal. I'm guessing it's meant to be a cow, but just no, I'm not a fan of this. To show that an animal lived here, you could have had like a hopper, or maybe use trapdoors to make a trough or something, and then you could have had the nether rack, it might be, netherrack or soul sand metadators, you know, to make it look like, you know, it's excrement and stuff. Yep, using a posh word instead of just saying poop. So yeah, it's quite nice. The only thing that is missing, I think, from up here is that there's no like sort of fire to make food or anything, prepare stuff like that, and maybe like a path going off over there to suggest that there's more than just this one TP around. But I'm sure that if he had enough space to expand this plot onto like a P plot or a P plus plot, this would look great. And the amount of detail he's managed to fit into a desert area in particular. And the great thing about American deserts is they seem to be a lot more green than sort of like the Middle Eastern deserts. You do have like patches of grass, I think, in there, or maybe that's just because the bushes are that thick it looks a bit more like that. But you know, you do have a lot of the terrain's a lot nicer. And if you've if you played Red Dead Redemption, you know you've got these great fields of all these tight bushes like packed like this. So maybe you could do something like that. I don't know. This is definitely a style I've been wanting to, you know, go for a while, you know, test out, and this has given me lots of inspiration, and I'll be taking quite a few ideas from this, especially this little cactus. Didn't know this was in the plot, in the texture pack. So yeah, that's about all I've got to talk about on this plot. It's a great P- plot, really love it, and I hope that he expands this with a P plot or a P plus plot. Just there's so much potential with this, and I love it. As a concept, this is perfect. Now, fill out these bits. I've talked about the material changes in here. Detail wise, for the actual terrain, it's great. You've got a few purpose errors, you know, there's a few things that don't quite make sense. An atmosphere, I think this has got great atmosphere down here, but the top of the plot hasn't got much atmosphere, but that's sort of, you can't really help that. It's the P- plots, and atmosphere is definitely the hardest thing to achieve on a P- plot without just spamming a forest everywhere. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.